Good morning and welcome to January 9th, Thought Provoking Change, where we will be discussing taking massive, determined action. Thank you all for being here. For those of you that are watching the replay, please hit hashtag replay. Be sure to subscribe and like the YouTube channel at jonathanellisofficial.com. That's youtube.com/@JonathanEllisOfficial. Subscribe, like, and comment on the post. It really does help the algorithm. This morning's a little...
We're here, buddy.
This morning's a little bit different. Look, just a little over an hour ago, I received a phone call from my mom saying that my grandmother is unresponsive. You know, I've grown up in church my entire life. I have heard many, many times a pastor say, I had a message planned today and God changed it all on my way here in the green room, whatever the case may be. And just full transparency, I've always called bullshit on that. I'm like, no, that's just an attention grabber. You're saying that so that you can have people lean in and hear what you have to say. I realized this morning that sometimes that happens. I had things to talk about this morning about taking massive action, massive determined action steps. And I was faced this morning with what I was going to do. You know, for those of you that are on the messenger with us, I've made comments about how you guys pour into me as much, if not more, as I pour into you guys. I don't say that just to be nice. I'm very committed to this group. You guys mean more to me than what you realize. And as I've been thinking for the past hour, you know, one of the early things that I did was I called Dean and I said, hey, look, here's what's going on. Can you cover for me if I have to step away or if I can't make it? And thank you, Dean, for being willing to do that. As I was thinking, I looked and I said, you know what? Showing up for a call when I have a grandmother that is unresponsive, that's commitment. That's taking massive determined action steps. There's one thing to say something, there's another thing to live it out. You know, I'm very excited about an announcement that we'll be making at the end of this call about something that's coming up. And being intentional with what you're doing pays off. You know, there's so many people out there that say that they are there for you. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. How many actually do it? I don't know how many of you are aware this call actually started sitting around my kitchen table several months ago. There were two people, somebody named Afia that has been on the call with us before, and JT. He is here going by a fictitious name, a sissy name of Joseph Tom's, but his name's JT. We were sitting around my kitchen table and getting caught up on Toastmasters table topics. And that has evolved into this. It's wonderful. It's amazing. Thank you. I appreciate you guys being here. Those of you that are brand new, welcome. Nikki, she is another author along with Josh that launched their book over this weekend. So make sure to grab their books. Y'all can put your books in the link if you would like. Massive action determined steps, or massive determined action steps. What does that mean? There is one thing to just take action and then let it fade away. There's another thing to be very determined about where you're headed. Be very determined about the action steps you're taking. A perfect example is on this call. We can see Michelle. She is currently right now laying in a hospital bed and she's still here. That's amazing. That's amazing. So you can be determined to do something, or you can just take little action steps. A big question that I am asked on a very regular basis, because I am an action taker, is how do I gauge what I'm going to do and do it so quickly? My process is actually very, very easy. I look at what we are up against. I look at what was offered to me. And I say, number one, how much will it cost? Is the investment worth it? Number two, am I sold out? Am I committed to the investment? And number three, what's the time commitment? And really, I gauge things with those three simple questions. This does not have to be complicated. In fact, my book's title is Uncomplicated. Here's the thing, you don't have to complicate everything. So taking those massive steps to achieve your goal is how you get to where you want to be. Sometimes it's not easy. Yes. Julia Gandy also launched her book this week. I apologize. I was not overlooking you. And Nikki's holding my book up now. What does taking massive action steps, massive determined action steps mean to you guys? Who would like to you know what, JT, and he's raising his hand.
Yeah, I'll share. Anyway. Yeah, so before I started working with Jonathan on doing videos, there was many days I would just think about doing videos in my head. And because I spent so long thinking about doing it, I felt like I did it, even though I knew I didn't do it. So for me, what the massive determined action taking is doing it live and to keep going, even if I'm messing up, and just to keep putting it out there in the public eye. So that's what the determined action is for me, is doing it publicly and doing it consistently.
Very good. Because consistency is one of the big keys to it too. You know, you see people fall off all the time, no matter what it is. I'm the most happening motivational coach in the world. And then 3 months later, you never hear from them again. Or, you know, it's that consistency. Keep the consistency going. And I'm proud of you, JT, for doing what you're doing.
I appreciate it.
Nikki?
Yes, good morning. My heart is with you. I had the pleasure of meeting you face to face in the flesh this weekend, and I absolutely love you, Jonathan.
Thank you.
So taking massive action for me is doing it when you don't want to, is doing it when people tell you that you can't, when people tell you that you're crazy, when they don't see your vision. Just remember, your vision, your downloads, your gifts, your talents were not given to anyone else but you.
Right.
And you have to really own it, and don't keep it to yourself. Again, consistency is a great way, just being on the forefront of everyone's minds by everything that it is that you do while you're serving others. Because remember, none of this is for us. It is for the people that we serve. So that's what taking massive action is, and the follow through. We always get the information out there. People comment, they touch base with us, but it's really following back up, even if it's weeks later, months later. Always have them, your name on the forefront of their mind and how you can serve them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Always be there for them. And remember to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel at Jonathan, or youtube.com/@Jonathan Ellis Official, where we post these videos, and we look forward to hearing your comments. Josh?
For me, consistent, determined, massive action doesn't have to be big. It's repeated small. And what it really comes down to is committing to consistently building and investing in deep, authentic relationships. And wherever you are, showing up as everything you are, not hiding the aspects of yourself that you're not as proud of or you're not as comfortable with. Because when we show up in a radically honest way, we give others permission to do the same, and we can build much more powerful connections when we're real, when we're everything we are without apology, and we embrace others and let them do the same.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a great word. It's a great word. Somebody else had raised their hand. Dr. Reed, welcome. Welcome. We are talking about taking massive action steps, massive discipline action steps. And so right now we're going popcorn style. We like to hear from the people on the call about what that means to them and how they do it. Cheryl, I see you raising your hand.
One of my mentors' little logo is the time is now. And procrastination will not get you anywhere. So, I mean, he has wristbands, is behind his Zoom call stage is the time is now. I think that's very important. Another thing is it's better to do something than to wait around till it's perfect. Most people create a project or an idea and they want to wait till they perfect it. Just go do it. Even if you make mistakes, you're going to learn from it. But your procrastination, waiting till it's perfect, you're never going to get around to doing it. So doing it now is better than doing it perfect.
That's right. That's right. Because when you're so focused on perfection, you'll realize you never achieve it. You never achieve it. Mr. Dean Park.
I got one for you guys here. You guys all mostly know that I'm a pilot, and an airplane gets into the air by action. But really what starts the action is what is called momentum. The airplane will never take off the ground without momentum getting started, getting going. And to add to your quote you said earlier, one of my mentors said the same thing. I just elaborate on that. Is this, and I'm guilty of this. I've been guilty of this too. Is that everyone wants to become perfect to get started. Just start to become perfect, right? This is the challenge we have. You know, we get in the airplane, and I'll admit, I won't say I fly for United, by the way. Okay, it's not what I fly for. I'm just kidding. So you fly airplanes that are not perfect. They never are. There's always something broken on an airplane. Believe it or not, there's something. I mean, you may not want to fly an airplane again, but whether it's small or minor, it's not going to hinder the flight. At least we don't think it does until it does. But without taking that action, you know, every flight would be delayed, like Southwest. So I just have a little humor here, John. I just make you laugh, man. You know, and massive action is coming like Jonathan here. You know, still doing this call, even though you know he had some challenges, you know, and he's here doing an awesome job. You know, so Jonathan, kudos to you, man. You know, that's this guy. I've known Jonathan now for probably about 1.5 years, almost 2 years now, and this guy is one of the strongest action takers I've known. So, man, kudos to that, man. So, the thing I'd tell you is, listen, momentum. Small, start small. Whoever said here, start small. Airplane starts off at 0 miles an hour, then it goes to 0, 1, 2, then goes to a couple 100 miles an hour. It doesn't happen overnight. So you got to take little steps too as well. And listen, something is better than nothing. But you know what? I told my wife this morning is to excuse my friend, start with shit 1.0 and create wonders 3.0. If that makes any sense, right? So anyhow, there you go, buddy.
There you go. Awesome. Caesar, good morning and welcome.
Good
Caesar
morning.
is in California, so it's 6 a.m. to him, and he's bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
I am. I told you I was going to make it. So thank you for the invitation. So definitely excited to be here. Yeah, I would say when it comes down to massive determined action, I think it really comes down to everything you guys mentioned. And probably what I will add to that is also doing something that you're not comfortable with, right? Sometimes we want to be comfortable with the process, or again, we want to be able to have all of the elements and perfect that process or whatever that might be. And so I think, being able to say, you know what, even if I don't know all of the things, or I'm afraid to make that phone call or 100 phone calls to whoever I got to talk to, I'm uncomfortable, yet I'm going to do it. Like having that determination that even when you're uncomfortable, you're going to take action on doing that task on hand, even if you mess it up, right? And just kind of perfect that, doing it time after time after time.
Absolutely. Just get out and do it. JT is putting these videos out and doing such an awesome job. And the videos aren't perfect. That's okay. No, my videos aren't perfect. It's the thing of get out there, and then you talk to people and they say, hey, I've been watching you. Or you're picking up several Facebook followers and people just reach out and say, I'm watching you. You never know who's paying attention in the backgrounds. And I had this chat with another author, and I said, sometimes you will not even ever know in your life of the people that you touched. So always be your authentic self. As I get more and more onto speaking on stage and being in front of people, there's a rush, there's a high. If y'all have never done it, there is a high when you are on stage. It's exciting. One of the reasons that we're making the announcement at the end of this call, stay tuned, of what's about to come, is because there are so many, unfortunately, people that speak at events and seminars and masterminds and whatever you want to call them. They're not authentic. The person you see on stage and the person that's off stage are not the same person. I am really big about getting involved in groups and getting to know the main person on stage, because even though the people that you meet in the audience, that's where the real value is. But yet I'm not interested in being one of those that, hey, this is Jonathan Ellis, the public figure, and this is Jonathan Ellis behind closed doors. I'm not like that. And I will ask y'all to hold me to that standard. For those of you that know me really well, JT, Dean, Colin, I guess Kate knows me pretty well. Lisa's giving thumbs up. I guess she knows me a little bit. But, I tell JT on a very regular basis, I said, if you ever see me saying something on stage that does not match up with my life, put a boot up my ass. You let me know it. Because it's all about being the true, authentic you. Because here's one quote that I love is, time will expose you or time will promote you. No, it's true. It's true. Mama Mo, good morning.
Good morning.
Pleasure to see you.
It's a pleasure to be here. One of my things I have trademarked is Raw-Authenticity, rebuilding an authentic world, RAAW. And I think that that's what we need to do. When we show up in our authentic self, in our raw authentic self, that's when we move people. That's when people take action. That's when we get people to change, per se, because we give them the safe space to show up authentically as they are, like you did this morning in your authentic self. Each and every single person that I know on here and have had the privilege of getting to know, from Dr. Reed to Julia, to you, Jonathan, to several others on here. That's what's so incredible about these units of people that we surround ourselves with, our network, is that when we show up authentically as we are, then they feel safe to show up authentically as they are. And we just all continue to elevate each other. And it's a beautiful, beautiful process. And so, to take massive action, the only way to take massive action is to show up authentically as you are, because then you become in the ebb and the flow of life. You're not hiding anything. You're not trying to be something that you're not. We all deal with a little bit of imposter syndrome, believing that we can't show up authentically as we are because we're afraid. And as one of my favorite people says, one of my favorite quotes is, feel the fear and do it anyways. That little stirring that you get inside of you when you show up authentically because you're afraid, that's exactly what you need to do, because that's showing you that that energy needs to be emitted out for others to receive. And so like, I just love this. I love these groups. I love everything about these networks because we are with a group of individuals that show up authentically.
That's it. That's it. And, you know, sometimes you need accountability.
Yes.
And sometimes you just need to run it with somebody. People ask me when I speak about my coaching, and my primary is business. However, I help people in life circumstances too. And the thing is, you just have to show up and be the real you. You have to let it out of who you are, because that's how you really get to the bottom of stuff, is just being the real authentic you, like Mama Mo said. That's great. Julia, would you like to share with us?
Yes, thank you. And thanks everyone. And Jonathan, it was great to finally meet you in person and be able to, see everyone.
Likewise.
What came up for me, and I'm feeling for you about your grandmother. I do work with hospice patients. I need to show up to my families without any expectation, without any of my outcome, my what I want, right? It's that process. So what I would say to this is to prioritize your priorities, and sometimes those priorities need to change, to live an authentic life, like Mama Mo was saying, is to show up to every event in your life with the gravitas of that moment, and as we move through our lives, and when we get to that point at the end of our lives, we want to say we did the best we could in a full circle, not just business, not just family, not just that we need to kind of bring it all in, and so, sometimes, we go through these seasons of business, of, if we have small children, we're locked into raising children, new relationships. So sometimes that focus changes, and we need to be okay with that. We need to be okay with that. Again, like Mama said, the ebbs and the flows, the seasons. So to have that massive action sometimes looks a little different from one day to the next.
No doubt. Absolutely it does. And one project from the next, it can change through just in the day. Gregory, I saw that your hand was raised.
Yeah, I just wanted to touch a little bit about the health aspect of determination, right? We got this frontal lobe, the cortex, which carries the will and the reasoning, but we have the limbic system in the back of the brain that basically tells us, hey, why are you doing that? We really need to hone in on that limbic system, because that's going to basically tell us, hey, you shouldn't be doing that. That's going to put you in your, not feeling that comfortable. Basically, what we got to do is, anytime, like an entrepreneur, you take risks. So anytime you have an idea, a good idea, your limbic system is going to come in and say, hey, I really, you shouldn't really be doing this. It's a little bit too risky. So before you have that idea, we need to jot down, what are we going to do when those ideas come up to overcome it? So suggestion would be to write down your affirmations, write down your goals. So when those thoughts come behind your head, you already know exactly what you got to do to get to that determination part.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. That's absolutely true. Thank you all for being here. Make sure that you like and subscribe to the YouTube channel at youtube.com/@JonathanEllisOfficial. Now the moment has come that I'm really excited about. In the Thought Provoking Change Messenger that we have, something was brought up about a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, about live events. And within 7 days, I sent out a message and said the first live event is planned. Now, although that may seem very rushed, what y'all are unaware of is Dean and myself, as well as Colin, have been talking for quite some time and organizing for quite some time live events. And we have one put together. Dean and I will be hosting the Unscripted event. It is very similar. I'm not going to go into full detail about how we're doing it. It is like none other. And I know everyone says that. We have been to many, many masterminds. We have been to very many summits. And we're calling ours neither one of those. It's called the Unscripted event. And we are looking forward to connecting with you guys live. Everybody that's on the show now, as well as everybody that's watching the replay. You can find information at www.theunscriptedevent.com. The first event will be held February the 25th and 26th around the Daytona, Florida area. So go over there and get signed up. Now, we are limiting this to just 30 people because we are intentional about keeping it intimate to where everybody walks away with something massive. What are we going to be talking about? You decide. It'll make more sense. Lisa, the website is www.theunscriptedevent.com. Dean, would you like to chime in and add anything to this?
Aside from what you said, no, it's bring your questions. It's like I said, we're not going to give you too much information right now because really there's not much to give except for the fact that it's completely different. We promise you this evolved after about a 5-hour call one night. It
was 7.
7 o'clock. Yeah. The challenges with and I'm not putting anybody's event down. The challenge we have with the events is that they're scripted. And the problem is you come there and you have to find the answers, or they hope you find the answers. Well, here, guess what? We're guaranteeing you that you're going to find the answers before you leave. And that's why it's like, so come with your questions. Don't come look for answers.
That's right. That's right. Not only that, we are guaranteeing you a 10 times return on your investment.
I'm going to keep that quiet.
To join. Whoops, I let the cat out of the bag. And that's what you get for being here at the Monday thoughtprovokingchange.com. You get insider information. And everybody that's watching the video, make sure that you check out www.theunscriptedevent.com. It will be very exciting and you will walk away definitely learning a lot. Thank you all for being here. We will connect again next week. Be blessed, everyone.